Chubstep.
Jrad. Cacao.
Creating the oil of judgment.
Steed.
Chubstep.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the king of the jungle.
For example, you remember me possibly as a man with small hands. Yeah, you think he had small hands. Do you remember that?
Yeah, sure, okay.
What you remember is false. Yep.
Okay.
Big, masculine. My hands tell a story.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
And the show has started.
And welcome back to Chubstep Podcast, ladies and gents.
Yay, Steed, we did this before, and it was very controversial.
It
never got more bad feedback than when we did this before.
Jrad, let me tell you, I received messages from people I didn't even know existed anymore. Emails, phone calls telling me that was bad. Turn it off. Don't ever do it again. Yet here we are.
Yes, and that, of course, is talking about speaking the way we are speaking, which I don't have a problem with. It's how I speak now. But certain people seem to have an issue with the way people speak in other cultures. So what are you going to do?
This is an issue for the banks. Brexit.
Yeah, well, speaking of banks, it was a baking.
Richie Gervais.
Let's have Ricky Gervais handle this. Yeah, good reference. And scene.
Let's quit while we're ahead. I was having
good.
a tough time doing British today.
Yeah, I don't know. Steve, maybe had 4 or 5 trials before we could get that. Even that little string going, but that's okay.
I wanted to talk like Ringo.
You can talk like Ringo. Just like there's many American accents, there's a
lot of British accents.
A lot of British accents. Yeah, it's not the same.
Well, I mean, nobody's probably listening at this point. They've all turned it off.
They've already turned it off. Or they thought it was a different podcast. They just thought they were wrong with who are the 2 British guys talking.
Yeah, we were pretty good.
Yeah.
Mention Brexit. It was in the news several years ago.
Topical, very topical. Yeah. We're doing this is going to be a shorter show. We're doing this late. So whatever.
And you're jet lagged.
I'm not feeling great. The first day Chubstep Amy was up. I think we counted 35 or 36 hours straight.
Oh, that's fine.
I slept like 3 hours on a plane between that time. So minimal. You barely even count that as actual sleep. But yeah. Basically now it's, feels like it's 4 a.m. or something, but it's whatever. I don't care. Yep.
Chubsteps, baby. Chubstep, we're back.
Chubstep, baby.
Jay,
we're back.
I want to ask you about your trip, but first I want to know, did the phrases we went over help you at all? Did you use any of them?
I didn't. I was trying to think of chunder was the word.
Was it chunder? No, it was chuffed.
Well, the one that when you throw up from drinking too much?
Oh, that might have been chunder.
So I was really annoyed because it actually came up that we were talking about drinking too much and then having to throw up. And I just could not think of the word. It was I was like, oh my God. But this is how often do I actually get to talk about this? And I couldn't think of it up. The A up me duck. I did say that in passing towards the end of the trip to like a passing person just to see, and they just they were like, what the yeah, like, why are you talking to me?
I'm not your
but
duck.
I just had to say it. So but in general, it's almost like somebody that speaks 2 languages. Now I don't really know because I don't really speak 2 languages. But you have to interpret things that they're saying, like in your head, translate it to what that means. So I'll give you an example. We were talking with our friends there, and he was talking about how his mate. I actually think I wrote down the phrase.
Jesus.
He was talking about his mate was carrying his clothes in a bin liner into his flat.
See, that's tough. So in American, that's the chick he's banging,
No,
or dude, the
no,
person
this is
he's
his
having
friend.
sex with.
No.
I'm gonna go American.
Okay. Let's
Say
hear
that
it
one
here.
more time, and I'm gonna.
His mate carried his clothes in a bin liner into his flat.
Yeah. So in American, if you said that, that means the person you're having sex with carried your clothes in a garbage or some type of garbage bag
Yeah.
onto the floor, something flat, table, onto the table. So you put your clothes on the table in a garbage bag, dumped them out of a garbage bag.
Yeah.
Why was he carrying a bin liner around?
He said, well, this is actually they said it was a strange kid that just always carried everything in a bin liner.
Bin liner,
Yeah.
bene.
Bin liner. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, there's a little bit of that translation you have to constantly do, which is just like, oh yeah, I know you always know what they're saying, but it's like this little like, oh, I have to like, what does that mean? Like what is the correct way? And then if you respond, they don't say it a certain way. So then you like say, towards the end of the trip, I started saying university instead of college.
Oh, come on. You
Which
folded.
It felt weird, like that you're just saying it when they don't call it that. It's just a series of weird things like that.
Yeah, you got to go to like Harvard or Yale to qualify for the university title.
That's yeah, that's fair. Well, it's weird because everybody here calls it like, oh, he's at college, but like we actually all those are called universities.
Yeah.
The only things we call college are community colleges, right? If it's like a 2-year thing, but anytime we're referencing it, it's technically university.
Yeah, I don't like it though. It sounds too uppity.
High society.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think it is kind of uppity, right?
Yeah, it is, and they gotta get with the times here.
Yeah, I get it, Steed.
What's the funniest thing you heard somebody say? Do you remember? Like the most British thing?
Well, the funny thing was we had this. We did one of the classic double-decker tours in London.
Nice.
And the tour guide, just kept doing all these different accents.
Oh, gosh.
And he was teaching us like better. He's like, it's not better. It's not better. It's better. and he just kept doing like, he'd be like water bottle. Like so I was asking him what's his favorite accent. He started doing he's like, well, I love a Texas accent.
Oh yeah.
Accent. But he could do all of them. It was pretty funny.
Nice.
And then he's like, or like New York, I love New York. I'm walking. I'm gonna get on the bus. New York! Like that's so those is Texas and New York were his favorite. But
that's pretty good.
Yeah, that was, I think the funniest thing I heard was just that, because it was just funny to hear, we always talk about us doing accents, but it's funny to hear him do an accent.
Yeah, maybe we should have gotten him on the show to start it.
He would be a very interesting guy. I wish I knew how to contact him, because I'm sure a tour person would have a lot of good stories.
Yeah, a lot of weird stuff. Like there's got to be some interesting people that get on the tour.
Yeah, of anywhere, right? Of any.
Yeah, literally
anywhere.
Any tour, no matter what.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the trip. That was the whole trip.
You went on a double-decker tour bus and left.
Well, I'll say I'll break it up into 2 parts. I just wanted to be caught talking about this whole time. But we started off, we got there and we went to Oxford right away. Speaking of, you would qualify that as a university, Steve.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. A lot of Harry Potter was filmed there.
Really? Did you recognize any of it?
Yeah, I definitely, especially it's more the vibes of anything.
Oh, it's Harry Potter vibes.
But they actually did film a lot of it there. But I don't know if I was like, oh, that was that. I think they did tours. They did Harry Potter tours that you could have gone and see the different spots. I didn't do one of those. But they had this thing, and I think this actually ended up being our favorite city while we were kind of our favorite spot that we stopped while we were there. But they had a river there, and they call it Punting, down the river, which I was like, again, punting. I'm like,
Football.
okay, this is like a football.
Punting the
but
football,
I'm sure they're not just kicking this football across the river or something. I was like, man, that would be interesting though. But it's basically one of those pictures like the gondolas that they have in Venice, one of those things with the guy with a big pole in the back. So they said, we got there and we're like, all right, we're only going to be in Oxford for a day, so we got to try this while we're there. It's like a famous thing there. And they said, okay, we can either bring you out on a guided tour or you can just do it yourself. And they've got like 3 different options for the type of boat. So they all look the same, but one boat, they give you just a big pole and then they give the other person like a tiny little paddle.
They just set people loose with the poles?
Yes. So I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like if it was super nice out, I will say that. So the only day that it rained was this day. And I'm
so
like,
you refused the pole.
So I'm like, we're not doing the pole because it was just about to start raining. The guy's like, it's going to start raining. And I'm like, well, what's going to be the best option of raining? The other option was they had where the classic, like you have the 2 oars on each side, the rowboat style. And then the third option was pedals, like a paddle boat.
That's weak.
But it is the weakest, but it was, all the boats look the same, right? It was all the same design. It was just how you propel them.
Yeah.
But the thing was with the pedal boat, is that because it got to rain, we could get one umbrella, sit side by side and have the umbrella above us. And I'm like, and also I figured it's gonna be crappy weather. You don't know how fast you want to do this. Pedal boat is by far the fastest of the options.
That you think that was, I would think the oars.
He said it was the fastest. This was kind of designed. Some pedal boats are shitty for a taller person. It sometimes have a super short little turn.
Yeah, you don't have. You can't get the power.
This one had a legit, like, it was almost like you're pedaling a bike. Like it had legit like pedals behind it. So we start going down. It starts pouring, and like, so we have this tiny little umbrella because that's all they had in the shop. That was the Union Jack British flag umbrella. And it's like barely covering me and Chubstep Amy. And we start making this turn. You basically did this big turn around this island thing.
Yeah.
And we make this turn and there's this boat that is like, it's not flipped over, but it's sideways. Like it is, it's right side up. Everybody's on the boat, but it's just like angled, like hitting the wall on the side instead of like it's not going down the river. Now it's like somehow they've like banked this thing into the side. And I'm like, what is this? And then they're just like, as soon as they see us, they're waving their hands and like, oh God, what is this? So there's like 4 or 5 of them. And we pull up to them and they're these French, they spoke English, but they were clearly French.
Oh,
kind of younger, maybe like high school kids. And they're like, our boat's broken. We need help. Do this. I'm like, boat's broken. I mean, it's a flat boat that doesn't have an engine. They just didn't know. They had the poles, Steed. So they had just given these kids, they had chosen what they wanted to do. They grabbed the poles and it was like, they had no idea how to move this thing. They literally just idiot kids.
It's the easiest thing to move.
My God. It's like the simplest thing to figure out.
That was like the first boats ever invented. They're like, how do we move these things? How about this stick?
Stick a pole in the water. So these guys are like, they're literally think their boat's broken. So dumb. So and they had these tiny little paddles that did nothing. And none of them had umbrellas. And it is at this point it is pouring rain. And they're like, oh my God, we need help. We called the front person, but I don't know how long they're gonna take to get here. So we had, I was like, oh, we have a rope on the front. Maybe we could try tying up. And so like what we did is I steered my thing with the umbrella and then Chubstep Amy held the rope, held their rope and we pulled them 25 minutes back to the thing. God. It was insane. Now it didn't add that much extra. Shockingly, it didn't add that much extra weight. Like it wasn't like a crazy, it was like double as hard or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it took forever and it was like pouring rain. And then we get back and they were so thankful that they like wanted to take a picture with us. But it was just the funniest thing just seeing.
They were probably back there Snapchatting the whole time while you guys are rowing away.
Oh no, their phones would have been ruined, Steve. They're like, it was pouring. I did get a video of them. I got a video where we're filming ahead of that. I looked back at them and they're just like, oh my God, like embarrassed. Again, another Americans coming to save the French,
just like World War II and World War I.
Yep, all over again.
and the French Revolution.
Yes.
And
Well, actually, no, we didn't help them in the French Revolution. So what happened? They helped us in the American Revolution, and then they asked for help in the French Revolution. We didn't give it to them.
was there 2 French Revolutions?
No, there's the main one. It happened after our revolution.
Napoleon was around after America?
Yes, that was after our revolution.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought Napoleon was way earlier.
No, I don't think Napoleon ever
shocking.
lived.
Napoleon. The tall guy.
Napoleon Dynamite, 2004, that came out.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I was way off.
Yeah, 1769 to 1821, Steed. So.
Yeah, well, we started 1776.
Yeah, exactly. So
if they were already busy, we shouldn't have had to help.
Yeah.
We weren't even a country, and they want our help. That's ridiculous.
Well, it was after we were a country that they're like,
just
all
buy.
right,
You know what? Just sell us Louisiana. All right, and be done with it. That's all I got to say.
Bayou. They didn't want to be in the bayou. They want to be in the bayou. Is scary.
It is.
I think if I were to wake up in I think the scariest spot I could wake up in America is obviously there's like bad spots in cities and things like that. But I think the place I would be legitimately the most scared is if I just woke up in like the middle of nowhere in the bayou, somewhere in Louisiana.
And there's like one cabin.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't even trust the cabin. Like, if I was in a bad area in the city, I'd feel like, okay, there's houses around here. There's nice people that live here, right? There's maybe some scary people that like are roaming the streets. But there's nice people that live inside the houses, right? I'm sure there's some old lady or something like that living in one of these houses.
Old lady, let me in.
Yeah.
I'm scared. There's
let me in, but like, I wouldn't trust anybody that I ran into.
On the bayou?
On the bayou.
Mainly because you can't understand them too.
Well,
they're worse than the British.
You're
like, hey, I just woke up. I'm scared, and you go get back into it. Get in my bayou, boy. Come on, get on the boat. Get in my gator.
Get my boat there, boy.
I got 2 gator on the stove. You all coming next, and you're like, what?
Yeah. So I'll leave it there for now, Steed.
That was fun.
But what's something you want to get to?
Did I talk about oxen last week?
No, you teased it. That's what you did. You teased it.
Oh, okay. I could not remember
because we're looking at your search history.
Yeah, in my head, I was like, I can't remember if I talked about oxen, but okay. So I was listening to something, and they were talking about the Oregon Trail, and they're like, hey, you got to get like 6 oxen to pull you out west.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, that's a lot of ox. And then I'm like, when's the last time I've seen an ox?
Yeah. Good point.
And then I'm like, do we even have ox anymore? Yeah. Are they useful? Bleep blah bloop. And turns out they use them still.
This is Steed science.
No, this is not a Steed science.
Okay.
Because it did not go that in depth.
Okay.
Gosh, I just like spit thinking about oxen. So oxen, if you're not familiar, it's essentially a cow. Hang on. Let me make sure that...
While you're looking this up, I'll tell you my experience with oxen.
You've met one before?
No, I've never met one, but I had oxtail soup. I made oxtail soup one time. And it's not really fancy. They sell oxtail a lot of times, like Jewel. Any of the local grocery stores will typically have oxtail. But it basically tastes like just a fattier beef. I was not a huge fan. Like the taste wise was not bad, but just like the texture and stuff. It just just kind of a fattier beef.
I've had oxen before at like Jamaican restaurants.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, because I want to seem like cool, and I'm like,
you got to get the local stuff.
Yeah, give me the ox, baby.
Yeah,
this wasn't even in Jamaica. This was in like Kansas.
Yeah,
but I walked into this place, and there was like 12 pictures of Barack Obama on the wall.
Yes,
and I'm like, man, I got to play it cool.
That's true. Okay, so what did you find out about oxen?
Okay, so they're not cows.
Okay, different things.
Yeah, they do look very similar to cows, but
Okay.
oxen are bigger, have longer legs, muscular bodies, and they're
It's a
dumb
jack
as shit.
cow.
And they're just
Oh,
dumb.
okay. They're really stupid.
Yeah. Apparently cows are noticeably more intelligent, which is shocking because you don't look at a cow and you're like, he's got it together.
Yeah.
He can do some math.
So if a cow is smart in comparison to an oxen, how stupid is an oxen?
It's pretty dumb.
Yeah.
Because they're essentially the horse wagon. All they're made to do is pull stuff. So, they would pull the wagons. Big reason, we got to Oregon on that trail. Everybody went to Oregon, and then everybody fucking left Oregon for about 100 years.
Yeah, then everybody's like,
Because it
Oregon's
sucks.
not that great. Yeah,
California's right there. Let's
yeah, turns
go.
out that's a lot better.
But I was like, well, do people even use oxen? And I guess there are still 300 to 400 million oxen being worked globally.
Oh God. Okay.
Yes. Now I could not get the specific US numbers because there's probably a lot more in like India,
Yeah.
Malaysia.
Yeah. Countries that use more classical farm techniques.
Yes. But get this shocking fact. You want to buy a John Deere tractor to
How much?
pellet your garden? You're talking like 80 grand.
Sure.
Mid.
Yeah. Makes
Maybe
sense.
200,000 for a big one.
Depending on what you're getting, right? You go up to a combine, you're talking $1 million.
You're talking $1 million.
Yeah.
How much you think you could buy? What do you think a combine? How wide is a combine?
Oh my God.
40 feet.
Yeah, 40. I was gonna say.
So
yeah, 40,
we'll
50
say
feet.
like 5 feet an oxen. You need 8 oxen.
Okay.
That's going to run you about $160.
For 8 oxen?
You can buy an oxen, a pair of, what does this say? This says a pair of calves for 20 a piece.
Oh my God.
So you might be able to get 2 oxen for $20.
Oh my God.
If you're like, you swindle them a little bit.
So, but then you have to pay for it. The biggest thing is probably feeding them, right? I'm sure
You don't got to feed it. You put them in the yard. Let them eat the grass.
Shit, you're right.
Isn't that how they like survive in the wild?
I don't know how.
Are there wild cows? That's an interesting. That I would
is
like
an
to do.
interesting one.
How do we find them? Just moseying around the yard?
It had to have been wild at some point.
Humans are like, hey, come here.
So okay, so they're super cheap crazy cheap for whatever reason, and all they do is pull stuff, use manual thing. But people don't. We must not eat them the same, because if they were bigger and stuff, you would think they'd be better to eat, but they must be worse.
No, cows are the supreme meat. I think it's probably because they are a little bit fattier, like the
Yeah,
beef.
that makes sense.
And then these solid chunks of dumb muscle just pulling Amish stuff around.
Yeah,
Getting people to Oregon, and now $20 probably cost more back in 1852.
yeah, probably. You're right. People don't really want them anymore. They just take up a ton of room.
$65.
Okay, you want it locally? You can buy one.
$65 in the 1849 gold rush.
Oh my God!
And that, for inflation, you're talking like a Cadillac right there.
That's insane.
Now just $20.
$20
Down
I'll
at
get
the
you one on
farm.
cattle. Yeah.
Down at the farm.
Yeah. And okay, well there you go. Maybe we got to get. Well, we don't want to get in the oxen business because you can't make any money on that.
Damn right you can't make any money, but you could, get a bunch of oxen, get a plot of land, and just let them loose. First, they'll eat all the grass.
Yeah.
And then you just tie them up to some tractor things and let them loose. They'll plow your whole field after a while because they got to get around somehow. Then you come back a year later, it's plowed, all the grass is gone. Then you plant, and you're rich.
They're like the stereotypical thing we were talking about. I think I was talking to you about this, but like Disney has Star Wars' Bad Batch, where they like the big guy who's jacked, and that is like super dumb. And that's
Yeah.
every stereotypical thing, like over this big that they've got multiple type of people. One of them, whoever one is like massive and jacked, is super dumb, and oxen just apparently just fall into that category of.
Maybe that's where it came from.
I'm sure it came from. Yes, it's gotta be.
I don't know. Is there a super ripped guy that's also like a scientist?
Like a smart scientist guy.
Yeah. I don't know if that's got to have been done.
Yeah, for some reason the first thing that comes to mind for me
Always
is
Sunny Dolph
it's always
Lundgren.
Sunny Dolph Lundgren. Yeah.
Imagine a super ripped, super smart scientist in a mesh tank top named Dr. Dolph Lundgren.
No, that's not his name. He's played by Dolph Lundgren, but that's not the character's
No,
name.
it could be the character's name.
No, that's...
Let's think. Any of the superheroes, are they like super smart?
No, the smart ones are like the Hulk and Iron Man.
Yeah, well, the Hulk when he's super jacked is dumb. When he comes to Hulk, he's not smart.
Yeah,
he
he
becomes
just
dumb.
yeah.
He just destroys stuff. Yeah, I don't. If somebody has a better one, chubstep.podcast@gmail.com, other than Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, don't Google it, which I just did.
Smart jacked guy, superhero.
Yeah, I'm getting 9 powerful alpha male traits you must develop. That's the first thing that came up. I'm like, all right, I don't need to hear Andrew Tate scream at me for 45 minutes.
Tell you you're not man enough.
Yeah.
That's fair. One last thing here, Steed, since we're talking about weird animals and pets, you had a take I think was controversial on this. I think I told you briefly, I walked into a reptile store like 2 weeks ago, and I walked into the store and they had a giant tortoise that was just walking around the store. Like you open up the door and he's like, oh, make sure to close that gate behind you when you walk in. And I'm like, I figured it was for the dogs because you could see some dogs behind the main desk.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, there. So then we walk through, close the gate behind us, and all of a sudden I see this tortoise, and this thing is I don't know how many pounds this was, but this thing is legitimately 3 feet long by 2 feet wide.
Yeah.
3 feet might even be a stretch. 1, 2, 3. I mean, it might have been a little bit longer than 3 feet, maybe 3.5 feet. Massive thing. And it had a cage that was open on one side of it. And it would like a 3-sided, basically terrarium type thing.
Yeah.
And when it wanted, it just exited, walked around the store and went back. Like,
he's got to get his exercise.
Yeah. It just did its own thing. And I'm so used to just seeing them. And I'm like, God, this is awesome. So we were trying to walk down one of the aisles and it was going the other way and the aisles weren't super wide. So we're like, we got back. So we had to turn around to go the other way. But it was crazy. So then I saw this video of, I don't know, my dad sent me TikTok or I don't know what it was. So I saw this video of this girl that has been raising this turtle since, or the same sort of thing. It was looked like the same sort of tortoise since she was 5 or 7, whatever. And now the thing's now she's 26, the thing's 19 years old. And it's massive. They had to transform their backyard, and this thing just
turtle
lives.
habitat.
To a turtle habitat. And the thing they take it on walks and stuff.
Oh my God! How long does that take?
Well, that's what they said. Sometimes he just stops moving.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh great.
And then
we'll
they had to
leave
get the car. They had to get the car and pick them up and throw them in the thing. But they live, some crazy number of years. They can live over 100 years.
Oh, yeah, they're the longest living.
Yes.
I don't think they're the longest, but they're one of the longest. They get up.
Yes.
They still got the ones from Madagascar before we killed them all. There's
Did they
2
really?
in a zoo.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it's crazy. So you I was like, it would be fun to have one of these that was just, instead of having a dog in your house, you just have this tortoise that just walks around.
What the hell is that in the backyard? Oh, it's my tortoise.
Yeah. And they just eat they just feed them flowers and, lettuce and stuff. It's not like other reptiles where you have to feed them dead.
Like when I had the
mouse.
bearded dragon.
Yes.
And he
oh my God.
We don't know what gender it was. Yeah, I'd have to give him crickets and then I just stopped. I bought him mealworms, but I had to throw them in the air.
Yes.
And then he would be like, oh yeah, we're doing this. And that's the only way he'd eat.
Yeah.
Then he'd bite me and shit.
He's a sexual desire to eat something. while it's
Yeah,
alive and moving.
He was weird, and he looked
Yeah.
at me funny.
That's what I'm saying. And I wouldn't want to deal with that. So like if I had just this turtle that just walked around my house, a big
Yeah, and if you
tortoise.
could just leave him in the backyard and like hit golf balls at his shell,
Yeah.
that'd be awesome. I don't think he'd mind, right?
If you saw this, he seemed like it'd be fun, but also like they were like, you got to watch out. Like if he runs into the siding too hard, he could tear down the stucco and like because he's just like a beast. But you said you hated turtles. Is that true, Steve?
Yeah.
And why is that?
I don't. They stink.
Okay.
So if you like own one, they do smell really bad. I think we had turtles. Like my brother might have had them.
Okay.
And they did not last long. They like lived in the basement, and its tank just stinks like bad. Number two, it's a large reason why I can't stick my hand in holes in rivers because I'm worried about a snapping turtle getting me.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Okay.
Are there a lot in the Fox River?
No, I don't think. Well, no, I have seen snapping turtles. Like
I know
Illinois.
I know they've been there. Yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the crawfish attack, clam attack.
Clam attack.
I just when I catch them.
Okay, attack. You pick. Yeah, you find them in the water. Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes I step on them when I don't want to.
Okay, you're right.
And it kind of hurts my
You're
foot.
expecting it to be soft and then it's hard. Yeah, that's scary.
And then I'm like, whoa.
Because of the implications.
Sometimes they lick your
right.
feet because if they got their tongue out,
Oh,
they just
yes,
lick your
yes,
foot.
yes, they lick it, yeah.
I did not consent to that.
That's a good point.
So yes, clams can attack.
Okay, so I see. The fear of the snapping turtles is also you hate that.
Yeah, I
like
don't
the
want
smell.
them in the rivers. I just want the fish.
Okay.
So like snakes. Hate snakes.
Yeah.
If I lived in a poisonous snake zone and I saw a snake, I'd be chucking a machete at it.
Gotcha.
Throwing a tomahawk at it, beheading them, pissing on them to make sure the other snakes know I was there. Almost as bad as my hatred for wasps.
Yes.
Almost.
I know Chubstep John that listens to the show is a big turtle guy. He owns a turtle, and so I think he'll be pretty upset.
Maybe he can change my mind.
Yeah, I think he'll have to change his mind. Email the show at chubstep.podcast@gmail.com and tell us why
turtles
Steed
are
is
good.
wrong. Yeah, exactly. All right, we're gonna wrap up the show there, Steed. New episodes every Thursday. Share the episode with a friend. Steed, wait, real quick. How's your flat Earth thing going?
I think I'm up to like 40. I got to do another following spree.
Okay, do another following
where I
spree.
follow, and I needed some posts. So if anybody out there makes flat Earth content,
send it,
let
DM
me
it to
know.
what's your Instagram? What's it called again?
Oh, I got a message. Oh, somebody reacted to my story. They did this emoji.
What remind me of what the name of it is again?
Oh, it is Proving Flat Earth.
Proving Flat Earth. Okay, so people Proving Flat Earth, send it to Steed. Send him some good content if you have it.
Yes, it is a man. I'm getting my brother started following it.
Oh, good, perfect. All right. So
wait, why am I getting followers? Maybe these are other Chubstep fans because I'm getting followers that I didn't even follow.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
but I could be growing.
Good content. It just could be good
growing.
Content. That's true. All right, there we go. I know episodes every Thursday. Show has ended. Be gone.
Be gone, matey.
Now you know you got to go.
Peace. This is Yasin.
And the show has started.
And welcome. God damn it! I can't get my British down. Let me practice. I don't know.
Yeah, practice it.
All right. What do British people sound like? Better, mate.
What Harry Potter?
Going back to the governor. Harry Potter characters. Harry Potter. Chubstep. Well, welcome to Chubstep podcast. All right, I'm good.
Okay.